This is macOS Ken.
Daniel Ives is still a believer. Public betas for blankOS 26.4 are out. And soccer season starts this Saturday. Sibilance. It is Wednesday, the 18th of February, 2026. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by NordLayer. Secure your network, block threats to your business, and save with offer code macOSken-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/macOSken. This show is also sponsored by Clean My Mac, cleaning Macs since 2008. Maintaining your Mac can be a big job, but you've probably already got one of those. Let Clean My Mac do its job for you. Yes, it cleans useless stuff off your Mac, but it also maintains your machine with features like Smart Care, offering one-click optimization for better performance, My Clutter, finding and removing duplicate downloads and unnecessary files, and Cloud Cleanup, keeping cloud storage and syncs with your Mac in check. You don't have to know how it does its job. Just know that Clean My Mac is on the job for cleaning, optimizing, and maintaining your Mac. Put it to work. Try 7 days free and use my code macOSken20 for 20% off at clnmy.com/macOSken. Make macOS Ken all caps in both cases. That way they know where you heard about it and you get the discount. Get tidy today. Try 7 days free and use my code macOSken20 for 20% off at clnmy.com/macOSken. Again, macOS Ken is all caps, both places. Use code macOSken20 for 20% off at clnmy.com/macOSken. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 3 or 4 times. Well, you're not fooling this time, are ya? Apple 3.0 posted a note this week from Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives. Writing to investors on the Cupertino company, the analyst was quoted as saying, "While we get these snake-bitten concerns from investors given the AI challenges the last 18 months, this time is way different in our view." Factors making the difference this time, in his estimation: Apple has its Google Gemini partnership cemented, new outside AI leadership has come into the organization in Apple Park, and Apple and Cook know this revamped Siri and new architecture is one of the most important technology rollouts in its history, given how much is riding on Apple finally unleashing the consumer AI era on its platform. Clap harder, kids. Tinkerbell's sick. Don't get me wrong, I do think Apple is probably going to get this right at some point. But offering is one of your reasons because they just gotta, well, clap harder, I guess. Mr. Ives hasn't outperformed. Did you notice how through the roof iPhone sales were last year without a built-in AI, I guess we'll call it, solution? We all knew that Apple was going to make a TV, and we all knew that Apple was going to build a car. Clap harder. Anyway, Mr. Ives does have an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $350. There are 2 things I practically can't stand about stories from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. The first is how anyone else who covers tech, myself included, is practically required to retype what he types. Thinking about calling it regurgitation. But bigger than that, I cannot stand the breathless nature with which he says what he says. Take yesterday's opening graph about devices on which Apple is said to be working. Apple is accelerating development of 3 new wearable devices as part of a shift toward artificial intelligence-powered hardware, a category also being pursued by OpenAI and Meta. The piece says the company is ramping up work on smart glasses, a pendant that can be pinned to a shirt or worn as a necklace, and AirPods with expanded AI capabilities, according to people with knowledge of the plans. The thing is, these are all devices about which Gurman has written before. If they're getting closer to release, work would be going more quickly, would it not? Acceleration could be a function of time and progress, not OpenAI and Meta. Similarly, Apple shares may have gone up for a number of reasons on Tuesday, though Gurman says the stock popped on his news, which came compliments of secret sources. Does Apple still hate leaks? I mean, really? How has this guy had so many sources for so many years without Apple getting wise? They don't seem to like him, but he does seem to do a lot of work for them. Is his source's name another word for chef? Is it a homonym for the 17th letter of the alphabet? No, I don't think his source is Cook or Q. I'm just saying the days on which one has to swim in Gurman's wake, they annoy me. I know, sounds like I'm in a bad mode. Yeah, I kind of am, really. Thank you for being there. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, NordLayer, a toggle-ready network security platform built for today's business. You've known the name Nord for years, thanks to their consumer VPN. Built for business, NordLayer does that and a whole lot more, combining VPN, access control, and threat protection in one easy-to-use platform. No huge setup, and no new hardware. It's a security layer over your existing devices, no matter what platform you're on. They've recently partnered with CrowdStrike to bring Falcon endpoint protection to small and mid-sized businesses. That's enterprise-grade security made simple for businesses with just a few seats to 100 seats or more. That is security and control at your pace. NordLayer includes step-by-step onboarding and 24/7 support, and they got a special offer for you right now. Get up to 22% off NordLayer yearly plans, plus 10% on top with offer code macOS Ken-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/macOSKen. Try it risk-free with their 14-day money-back guarantee. NordLayer, toggle-ready network security built for your business. Get savings on top of savings with offer code macOS Ken-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/macOSKen. Right on the heels of the first developer betas of blankOS 26.4, Mac Rumors ran pieces on Tuesday that had Apple letting fly with betas for public testers. That's Beta 1 of version 26.4 of iOS, iPadOS, macOS, watchOS, and tvOS. The feeds were rife again, with new features included, as well as one glaring omission. Might as well start by ripping that band-aid. A piece from Mac Rumors says this week's 26.4 betas bring no signs of a smarter Siri. That had been expected to hit with the spring update. Had been, the piece says, until Bloomberg's Mark Gurman leaked last week that the Siri update wouldn't be coming in iOS 26.4 after all. Apple apparently ran into development issues, and the new version of Siri has reportedly been delayed until iOS 26.5 or iOS 27. Like a dope, I still hope we see something in that vein before the 26.4 release. Such hope may be in vain, though. Certainly not an expectation at this point. As for newness, another piece from Mac Rumors says Apple has added an average bedtime metric to the sleep section of the Health app in iOS and wherever else that turns up. Does what it sounds like, lists when a user went to bed most recently versus when they usually go to bed over a 2-week period. That's meant to help the user track how their bedtime affects the quality of their sleep. The Bedtime tracker joins the week-long average sleep time metric that Apple added to Health in iOS 26.3. Want something new for the Mac? Well, you're getting it anyway. Cult of Mac says macOS Tahoe 26.4 will bring an iPhone-style charging limit to MacBooks. While MacBooks already come with an optimized battery charging feature, the piece says the battery charge limiter will let users select the maximum charge level for their MacBook's battery. The thinking is that by not charging to 100, users can expand the battery's lifespan and improve its health. Or they can gun it to 100 because, feels good. I leave my pens uncapped. I burn my candle at both ends. I charge one honey. I've even been known to drink milk one day past the best by date. As comedian Fred Stoller warned, don't try to stop me. I'll take you down with me. For the last of the latest 26.4 additions and subtractions, we turn to tvOS. A piece from 9to5Mac says Apple's BoobTube operating system is adding a continuous audio connection. Seems that this is meant to address audio popping issues with Sonos speakers. According to the report, some Apple TV users with Sonos speakers paired with AV receivers have indicated that they hear popping noises or awkwardly low volume levels on certain channels, specifically with 5.1 channel content. 9to5Mac says reports on the Sonos subreddit indicate that this fixes that. Still, others in another Reddit thread say activating the feature creates problems when trying to play audio in stereo. Yeah, well, God never fixes a thing without breaking something else. It's beta 1. Let's see what happens. With continuous audio connection as the addition, what's the subtraction? That would be apps for iTunes, movies, and TV shows. Those have mostly been placeholders for a while now. A piece from Mac Rumors says Apple started phasing out the iTunes movies and iTunes TV shows apps back in 2023, redirecting users to the Apple TV app to make purchases. The apps remained available until now to provide customers with instructions on where to find their content and to provide access to the iTunes wish list. That, by the way, is also going away. Apple started sending out emails earlier this month warning people who still had iTunes wish lists that those will be leaving. Mac Rumor says emails about that include links to migrate those lists to the Apple TV watch list feature as an alternative. But we were talking about tvOS. It'll apparently do away with the iTunes movies and TV shows redirects as more of our digital innocence falls away. If you want to be part of the public testing thing, by the way, there's information and fun to be had at beta.apple.com. And finally today, something new for Apple TV that is not tied to this week's betas. A piece from 9to5Mac says free Major League Soccer on Apple TV begins this weekend. I shouldn't say free, though. I should say included with an Apple TV subscription. Late last year, Apple announced that beginning in 2026, all MLS matches would be available to stream for Apple TV subscribers at no additional cost. That's every regular season match, the annual Leagues Cup tournament, the MLS All-Star Game, the Campeones Cup, the Audi MLS Cup playoffs, and more, all included with an Apple TV subscription. The whole thing kicks off this weekend, except that's football, not football. 2026 matches start this Saturday, the 21st of February. Go Nashville SC. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and sponsored by Clean My Mac. Try 7 days free and use my code macOSKen20 for 20% off at clnmy.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by NordLayer, toggle-ready network security built for your business. Get savings on top of savings with offer code macOS Ken-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can find me on Mastodon, macOS Ken at mastodon.social. You can also send me an email, info@macosken.com. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Everyone's a robot.